Hello and welcome. What I'm going to show you today is we're going to be working on the poster just a little bit more. Going to show you a couple of tricks as well, how to hand in the poster. First, I think what I'm going to do is separate my poster into layers. Layers over here, we've got, if I click on layers, there we go. Right now I'm building everything on one layer, and you can dictate what goes into what layer. So I think I'm going to make two layers. Just going to call one the head. And then I'm going to make one called type. And then this one I'm going to just change to background. And then I'm going to make one called fade. And so what I can do is I'm just going to take my headline and I'm going to cut it. And then I'm going to select the head layer and paste it. Now if I were just to paste, then it just goes into like the middle. But if I were to go to edit and paste in place, it remembers the coordinates of where it was and it'll put it back in. It's one of those things when I was working in the business, we would just like say randomly, like, I love paste in place, and everybody in the office would giggle just because they knew exactly what you were talking about. So I'm going to drag over these because we've got a few things here. Shift to deselect the background, and just going to go into my type layer. Oh, wait, I need to cut it first. Go into my type layer, and then the quick key is Command Option Shift V, and then it goes down there. Okay, so now we have things in into different layers. And why does that help me? Because I just want to add a gradient in here, and I just want to show you that really quick. Like, let's say you have in your type here, and this is, you can't really read this down here, or your headline, or we've converted it to your ad. And actually you can see here how I made the microphone bigger. And so it's maybe some of this is hard to read. We're going to introduce a gradient. Basically, all that is I'm just going to, I'll just click on that layer, so I'm working in the right layer. And I'm just going to draw a box. And we're going to just do the, actually we can just fill it with anything for now. I can fill it with anything, or is there, no there isn't, okay. But I just did that so we can see that there is a box there, and we can see the changes. I'm going to go to the gradient swatch tool. I think I have to double click on that to bring that up, and go to linear, and it just automatically just kind of applies that to a blend. Then I believe that I can just click and drag. If I have this box up, I can click and drag and make that blend do anything you want. And just like in Photoshop, you can do radial, not as many options, but you can do the basic stuff. Now, why does this matter to me? Okay, well, let's show you. The nice thing about doing this is that because it's blending from black to white, if I were to make that box bigger, so let's just use the, just doesn't matter, I think it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter if I'm going to make that box the size of the whole thing. Okay, and so that actually looks kind of like a neat blend the way it is. And then if I were to just do my little blend here, I think, oh, why does it not work for, oh, I guess I have to have this selected, sorry. And then I've got my different blends, and I think I will say right about here. The nice thing about this is that now, if I were to go into my effects, go right click, and I go effects, and just like I showed you with the drop shadow, and your outer glow and whatever, I can go into transparency. And this is where you can make things semi-transparent, just like in Photoshop. It's also where you can do things like multiply or luminosity or something like screen. Just makes everything lighter. But multiply makes everything darker. Okay, and because I've got that fade already, but underneath the type and in front of the background, it adds a fade there. Now I don't need to make it 100%. I can tone that back, okay? So that's kind of nice. So then, like say if, now why does that, there. And so that's a nice way of doing that. Now, why would I want to do it there and not in Photoshop? Well, because I'm just going to copy this box, Control C, go to my ad now. Okay, so this ad has a bit of a problem. First, I'm just going to really quickly, I'm going to cut that, make a new layer, call it type. I'm just going to put them both there. I'm going to make a new layer, call it fade, and then put that in between, and I'm just going to lock my type layer. So then what that allows me to do, I'll just paste that in for right now. Oh, rats. Got rid of the wrong thing. Copy, here, paste. Okay, so I've got this same blend that's already got all the different components there. Use the free transform tool, bring it down. It should snap there. Oh, it's not letting me go up any further. Let's do it this way then. Okay, it should let me snap. Now, you can see here, oh look, it's not perfect, 7 by 5. Just change it, 7, 5. Oh, it's supposed to be 7.5, isn't it? Oh, that's bad. Okay, so then now I've got this blend here. And so now I've got that blend tool selected. And so I've still got that element. And so what that allows you to do, so that's how it kind of looks without anything. I'm just going to add that blend in behind. And so it's just another way of, so you don't have to have a different Photoshop file for everything. You can just work with the same components and just do and just introduce these little things so you can do these little tricks in InDesign. So you can just work with the same background graphic, the same title, the same graphics here, but just these little tricks so you don't have to have multiple files for each. Why do we care about that? Why wouldn't you just have a whole bunch of Photoshop files? Well, I guess because they take longer to do. And when you're doing a campaign where it's your business to, like, say I would do stuff for Columbia Sportswear, and I would send there'd be days where you have to do 10 ads, and you send them out to all different magazines. And so, well, why shouldn't I just make things simpler for myself? And this makes things simpler for you, okay? So that's how you would do that. Oh yeah, and now let's export our poster. Exporting the poster is a little bit different. Let's go back to our normal view, and we've got our bleed. It's spilling over the edge of the poster. Okay, we're going to export this as a PDF, but this is where we go into the settings, because we need to give the printer cut marks in order to cut and to know where to cut the edge of the poster. So let's go File and Export. I haven't done this in a while, so I hope I don't mess up. We're going to go Print, we're going to go Poster, and then we're going to go Save, and then brings up these settings here. Okay. If you look at all these things here, you look marks and bleed. This is exactly what we want to go into. Marks and bleed. All printer marks, well, we'll start with that. It's crop marks. Those are the marks where you're going to use in order to trim things off. So yes, we do want that. Bleed marks, we don't need them. Registration marks, they help the printer, that's good. Color bars, sure. Page information, sure. The only thing that we don't really need are the bleed marks, because I think they add confusion. So if you have them in, no big deal, but they're just extra stuff. How much bleed do you want? Okay, so if I were to up this, okay, that's a 1/16 of an inch. I click up, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, or 3/8 of an inch, half inch. Really, the standard is an 1/8 of an inch. So 0.125 is an 1/8 of an inch. All right, and that's what you do. Hit export now. All right, it's building. It's working in the background here. Let's just go see if I can go get the file now. I've got a file now called, you see how it built it? It says poster. And you can see now if I double click, oh, I must have a line. I must have something with a line. What was that? I can see it now. I must have that gradient. Oh, look at that. The gradient had a border around it. Okay. So I need to re-export, but I won't do it I'll do it later. Okay, but right now what I want to show you is there are the trim marks that the printer will use in order to cut it. These color marks are when they print like a million of these things at once, they will use these color marks just to help gauge them that they're printing the right colors. They'll also use this just to help line up the different colors. And then when they go to trim, they've got this area, this margin of error here that it bleeds over the edge of the trim marks. So they'll take the guillotine and slice it there and slice it there, and then they will have, but they'll be able to, but there won't be any problem. Okay, so that's what it looks like. So that's what I would like you to do. Unfortunately, to present this on your website, you'll have to again save this as a JPEG as shown in the previous tutorial. Okay, good luck.